YouTube, welcome back to the End Times campaign, brought to you courtesy of Archaon the Everchosen, who's sitting outside of Templehof, ready to continue to strike down Manfred von Karstein and his vampires who got in my way. Get in my way they did, and I'm not happy about it. I guess Appius and Sextus are both out of the army right now. Okay, yeah, because we had Sextus over here assassinating a character, and Appius went on another date with a vampire, if I remember right. He just has not learned his lessons about kissing vampires. Come on, Appius. Get it straight, man. Get it straight.
Mumble your pitiable words, so I can use them as a lash to flay your soul.
Now that's my kind of diplomacy right there. Using their words as a lash to flail their soul. CA, you've been talking a lot about diplomacy in Three Kingdoms. Add that option. One of the things that you all asked for in the previous episode was to see if I could ally with the Cult of Pleasure. That's actually a pretty cool idea. They're strength rank number 1, and we're number 2. There's a possibility that we could get a non-aggression pact here. Let's see.
Naturally.
Okay, what's a start? Since Marathi spreads chaos corruption, can we play her to our advantage, you know, use her for our own purposes? And that's kind of what that'll represent there. A good idea. A fun one. The other thing that people were asking for is, hey, Air, split up your armies. We will be. I just had them together for safety's sake. Some of you all may look like, oh, well, this is way too easy because his armies are always together. It is easier when your armies are together. If you separate them, when the AI thinks it'll have a numerical or quality advantage, they will swamp you with 3 or 4 stacks to 1. And even if you're a lot better, they'll take you down. So this is a necessary thing. When you put 2 stacks together, the AI tends to get pretty afraid of you. There's not a great in-between, right? If you go alone, you're going to get overrun. And if you go by 2s, it can sometimes seem a little too easy. So what we're going to do, though, is we'll split off the 3 legendary lords, and each may eventually have a smaller following. The one army that I feel pretty safe going off on its own is Archaon's army. His army is ridiculously strong. Kholek is going to need an army of marauders to support him. That's what we're going to add in because some of you all wanted a marauder-themed army, and that's what we'll do to follow Kholek. And then Sigvald is going to get the big monster, disgusting army to follow him. So that's going to be the kind of overall route that we take with these armies. I'm kind of thinking about having one more Hell Cannon in here. Trying to think if we have the right balance of infantry and stuff at that point. I think we would. Kind of want to see one more Hell Cannon. Some people wanted to see the Regiment of Renown Giant in Sigvald's army, but I really kind of want that to be in the monstrous army that's following him. So in this army, I think one more battery of Hell Cannons would be appropriate. So that's going to have to come from Archaon's army, though, because Sigvald can't recruit his own at the moment. And honestly, we can pretty just go ahead and assault the settlement here. There's a fair number of vampires here at Templehof, which could make a decent battle, but let's be honest, I have flayed the vampires who had much greater numbers than this, and this isn't really worthy of our time at this moment. So I'm going to just kind of leave this be, auto-resolve it, and that way we can move on to a new enemy. That is a whole lot of favor. I love it. Picked up the glittering scales, crown of command, a follower, horde building construction cost, improvements, so lots of good loot after that. Sigvald can level up, and I think we're going to work on this Chaos Vanguard. No, sorry, that's the wrong one. It's going to be Blessed by Chaos, because this is Chaos Warriors spawn chosen. So we're going to do Blessed by Chaos and Hammer into Anvil for Sigvald, and then eventually we'll do Doomfire as well. so that we buff the units that are in his stack, and obviously we'll work our way towards getting Silver Slash and his armor as well. Basornling, a character, levels up yet again. Let's start putting points into his training tree. We've got him in Sigvald's army right now. He will need to make his way back up here for Sigvald's purposes. Kholek probably should have had an agent in his horde, but he doesn't at the moment. We probably should build the building tree that allows us to recruit more aspiring champions, which would require this tree here. Got the one for trolls, chaos spawn, manticores. Let's go ahead and build this one so that we can get see, well, this one unlocks wizards actually, and a wizard probably makes more sense in Kholek's army at this point. And we may want to cycle in some Forsaken into Kholek's army at some point too, some Forsaken and chaos spawn. I'm not sure that we'll do it right now, so actually I think this one makes the most sense at the moment, because then it also unlocks another wizard slot, so that we can try and... I think we definitely should put a wizard in Kholek's army. It's kind of a waste if you can't take advantage of all that magic, the powers of the wind of magic. Okay, so here's the different missions I'm going to send the folks off to. Archaon is going to be responsible for ending the world of the empires of men, Bretonnia and the Empire. They'll focus them. Kholek is going to focus against the undead, Tomb Kings and vampires. He's going to hate the crap out of them. And Sigvald is going to go on a crusade against the elves, because the elves are too pretty and threaten his vanity. So that's going to be how we split things up. I'm going to send Archaon alone for now. I'm going to get a Marauder army. I say alone. I'm going to have Sigvald and Archaon kind of travel together back towards the realms of men. And then Kholek, I'm going to go ahead and have him just finish off what's left of these vampires, and then make way for the Tomb Kings. See if we can go put them to ruin. So, and we'll need to get another army to support Kholek too, which he should be able to help do, because he's starting to have enough recruitment capability himself to bring in some of the different necessities. I mean, his horde growth is fast, and he should be able to take care of himself pretty well quite soon. We can build another horde building with Archaon as well, and I honestly think we've built almost everything. Get the one with trolls. We're going to actually do this Marauder tree here, because we need to get a Marauder army for Sigvald. So there we go. Well, look who's back. Back from the undead. The bed of the undead. Appius, welcome back. It's been a while, bud. Where's he at here? He's like hiding behind the armies. There he is. Gonna put him back into Archaon's army here. Kholek, you should be good to go ahead and split off. I don't think the vampires are going to be able to field anything that can stop you. In fact, we're going to start here at Waldenhof. Another ward save. We're actually going to pull this melee defense off Skullx, give him the ward save, and then we'll put the melee defense on the Summoners of Rage. Should be a fun place to put it. We should be able to just auto-resolve this battle quite easily. The fact that we suffered any losses there is actually somewhat insulting. And we're going to loot and raise this settlement. The growth is coming fast enough for Kholek's army that I'm not terribly concerned. Storm Rage is going to give Kholek a additional ward save, which we want. So this is going to put a pretty huge ward save on Kholek. Let's check Sigvald real quick. Just check a few things. Let's give him this Armor of Silvered Steel. The Filth Mace. There is no talisman for him. None of the... I mean, the Potion of Speed, if anything, might be somewhat helpful for Sigvald. Horde building construction cost reduction, a research rate increase, and magic resistance isn't a big deal, but we'll use it for now. Let's go into the Metal Sorcerer. You all need to help me name this Metal Sorcerer for Sigvald, so please go into the chat and do that. And then someone else mentioned that one of the Hell Cannons, we'll keep the Soul of Damnation with its name, but let's rename this one here. I think they, what they call it, the Crow Spitter? Something like that. Hang on. Yeah, Crow. How about the Crow? The Crow Furnace is what I'll call it. If you had, I don't remember the exact name that someone suggested, but basically because we destroyed the Servant of Tzeentch and took it, it's kind of a reference to the fact that we defeated the Crow. So, and if you have any other names too, like Skullx, you know, all these units have special names. Help me with some other names for these units, and I'll implement them. So, and then, like I said, make sure we name the Metal Sorcerer in Sigvald's army as well. Let's move on with these. I'm going to actually use Sigvald to destroy Fort Oberstyre. You know, actually I'll use Archaon because I want the growth in Sigvald's army. Ooh, another ward save. We're going to give that one to Sigvald. Perfect. So Archaon can't camp because he finished raising a settlement. Skill point 33 for Archaon. There's a lot of things still that I want to do with them. Obviously, we'll get to this one last. It's not my #1 choice right now. Physical resistance for him would be kind of nice, but that's going to take a couple of skills to get there. Let's finish his magic tree first, and then we'll take care of the other one. Sextus, the Exalted Hero, can continue Woundmaker, which will make his weapon strength much stronger. And then Appius, we were working on Occam's Mind Razor. Alright, everybody's encamped that can be, and it's ready to move to the next turn. Like I said, we're going to start swinging back towards the Empire, and we will let Archaon solo the Empire after he makes an army for Sigvald. Alright, so we completed an objective. Chapter objective. So we're going to pick up extra favor yet again. And we have the next one here, which is the Destroyer. And to go through 20 more settlements. It's funny because the rewards for those are actually not very significant. Let's take Archaon and move towards Wurtbad, and we'll have Sigvald continue to follow, at least momentarily. I know you all want them split up. We will. We're headed in the general direction of Ulthuan anyway. Gonna build up this horde building here for Sigvald. And then Kholek, I'm gonna move up to this bridge position here. And then hit an encampment so he can replenish his troops. It'll only take one turn because his replenishment will be rather rapid. Let's take care of the ward save on Sigvald. That would be under a talisman there. Nothing else to do there for now, except for upgrade our Metal Sorcerer, that again, I need you all to name. Finish off the Golden Hounds, and then I'll probably do, yeah, we'll go to Evasion from there and get Final Transmutation and Transmutation of Lead. Both of those very handy spells. Okay, we've made it through another turn end. I forgot to build that building. I'm actually gonna move up close to Wurtbad. Go ahead and encamp, and then build this trial pit. Because I want to be able, as soon as we get rid of Wurtbad, I want to be able to train the army, the Marauder army, or the Marauder army will actually go back to follow Kholek. So I'll actually first train the Monster army to follow Sigvald, and then we'll train the Marauder army that can come back and find Kholek and follow him. But honestly, let's be honest about it here. Is anybody truly worried about the safety of Kholek and his dragon ogres right now? I don't think so. I am going to fight this so that the auto-resolve doesn't beat us down too badly. Oh man, these vampires are gonna rue the day that they ever undead existed. I was gonna say lived, but it doesn't exactly fit them. And if you do consider them to be living, then that's not going to be the case for much longer either. Skull-X is here. Kholek is gonna bash down the gates. I was kind of picking my targets. The vampires have a bunch of grave guards, skeletons, crypt ghouls, and zombies here at the gates. There's some Cairn Wraiths up on the walls. Obviously, they're units on the walls. They were kind of pointless because none of my units can even go on the walls except for Skull-X. And rather than land on the walls, we're going to teach them what dragons do. Just a gruesome breath attack there. Boy, that hurts your graphics card trying to do that. My frame rate went from 70 down to 28 when Skull-X breath attack hit. CA, please, help me out. In any case, we're going to use our dragon ogres to get in here and start mulching all the vampire infantry. And this is going to go on for quite some time. And Skull-X is going to be up here for burninating support. And I'm going to kind of switch back in whenever we hit the next course of action, but clearly my Dragon Ogre Shaggoths will clear this out. But, you know, nothing terribly interesting to watch per se here. Alright, a couple of minutes later, my Shaggoths are no longer required to mop up what's left of the infantry, so I send them over here to take out this vampire cavalry that just can't seem to make up its mind, so I'm going to help them make up their mind. Their lord is helping to give them the invocation of Nehek, but let's see how effective that is. Yes, very effective. Have a nice day, cavalry. So the vampire units are starting to come off the walls. There's some other zombies, but you can see over here that Skull-X along with my dragon ogres and Gorebeast chariots are coming in and making some vampire meatloaf out of the rest of their army. Way back here there are some cryptors and a corpse cart that will need to be dealt with, and deal with it we will. There's more grave guards stationed back here as well as some Vargeist and bats, and then there's another Black Knight. Then there's a Knights with lances and barding roaming around somewhere over here as well. I don't know exactly where they're at the moment. Oh wait, I think this is them getting mulched. Yep, it is. They were here, is what I meant to say. So here comes yet another Black Knight unit into the Shaggoth cavalry chipper. Tenderizing cavalrymen and creating delicious food out of them for generations. That's what Shaggoths do. This corpse cart back here is now getting some Graveguard with great weapons support, which could be effective if they had enough numbers and any way to keep their corpse carts alive. You can see I'm actually attempting to work my chariots back across here and in this direction, and then Skull-X has just locked onto that corpse cart, and he's going to go make them a corpse cart. Wow, you can't even insult a corpse cart because they're already corpse. This seems like a fair fight, you know? Crappy slow cart getting pulled by zombies with dead bodies and some loser inside with a whip versus giant angry chaos dragon. Pretty sure we know how this is going to end, and it's going to end in a very lopsided manner. Lopsided indeed, because now the corpse cart's laying on the ground. Very lopsided. Gorebeast chariots are going to beast their way on through. Well, that Graveguard was nice while it lasted. Let's go check the rest of these. The vampires are just terribly equipped to fight the type of units I have here. I mean, if they had entire armies of Blood Knights, it might be slightly more difficult, but even that I'm pretty sure we could handle at this point. I mean, maybe an army full of Terrorgeist or something? I don't know, I'm just trying to think of anything. Like Blood Knight, like 10 Blood Knights and 9 Terrorgeist and a Lord on a Dragon might be a significant challenge for the army that I have here. I think that's what it would take. The Vampire Lord's going to come over here. My Shaggoths are going to attack him. The Vargheists get quickly dispatched by my Dragon Ogres. And in fact, the Vampire Lord gets knocked around so hard by all my Shaggoths that he's going to stop taking damage and it won't crumble. So I'm going to have to move away from him. And then Skullx started this battle with a tremendous breath attack. And I'm going to let Skullx finish this battle with a tremendous breath attack. Should be pretty fun. So if anybody was hoping for some Kentucky Fried Vampire or Flame Grilled Vampire, Chaos Flame Grilled, there you have it. Now you know how Kentucky Fried Vampire is made. Well, you remember that last auto-resolve where it killed a couple of my unit models? Ha! Come on, take a lesson here, auto-resolve. Take a lesson. We don't lose unit models to vampire scum. Not unless they bring a real army. Kholek's army is just... it is savage. There's no other way to describe it. Kholek's army is absolutely savage. They are a Dragon Ogre wrecking crew. We've already done Freakish Mutations. I don't think there's a whole lot more for Kholek to do on that line right now. So I really think that we should start focusing on some of these things up here. So let's see what we got. A moving mountain. Seismic shock. Unearthly and anomalous. The Sun Eater. Ooh, Frenzy? Are you kidding? Alright, yeah. Let's work on this line here. There's going to be a lot of good stuff there. Let's just, for the sake of fun, look at some of the stats here on Kholek, by the way. Let's find... he has a 30% ward save right now, folks. A 30% ward save on Kholek. It's brutal.
Syrian has already told me your offer, but I will hear it from your lips all the same.
Manfred again begging for peace. Become a vassal, and you'll have it. So be it. Clan Angram was destroyed. There won't be many stunties left on the map at this point. But Kholek has got himself some campaign movement range. The coffin is in his sights. And we'd be still needing to take out... we're going to purge this area of undead. The vampires went all the way up here. And we'll have to deal with that as well. But we're going to have Kholek purge this area of undead. It'll probably just make the greenskins happy because they'll have more places to go and live. Let's actually work on... after the battle, we'll take care of those. Let's destroy Wurtbad. Let's continue the siege here. And then let's take Sigvald and move in right behind.
The gods direct me.
Yeah, we've done enough vampire stomping for now. I don't think it's going to cheat me out of any units. Pick up some nice post-battle favor. See if we got any items here. Doesn't look like it. We'll take another huge pile of favor, which is why we're going to have more armies very soon. Let's upgrade Archaon. Again, going to continue everything in this Lore of Fire tree for him, so that I can make him as vicious of a sorcerer as possible. Handsome and lethal. Indeed, Sigvald, indeed. That's what you're going to be telling the elves very, very soon. And like I said, we're going to split Sigvald off in a couple of turns here when we make his monster army. Got a useless Empire agent attempting to assault units in my army. It didn't do much, if anything. I think there was one chariot that he managed to take off. Beckhoffen is in our sights. I don't believe we really have any replenishment to do other than that one chariot, so we should be able to simply assault it. I think the auto-resolve will treat us fairly well here. Never hurts to get yourself an autosave just in case of a major fail. Take our victory. Again, rack up significant loot. Ooh, a Helm of Discord. That will be quite handy. So we cannot encamp with Kholek, but I mean, the only nearby vampire army is going to be far too weak to deal with them. So I'm, as of yet, unconcerned about that situation. Archaon is ready to move back closer. Altdorf is now under Imperial control, and that's fine. I will take it down from the Empire, but my goal here is to face off against a pretty significant army from Karl Franz. That's what I want to fight. Supreme Patriarch. So yeah, we'll have to find Franz. I don't know where he's at. Altdorf is a pretty significant settlement size. It depends on whether they've built up defenses properly for it. And the Empire has enough strength to potentially be a tough foe here, which is what we would like. I want Archaon to get a couple of fun big battles during his destruction of the Empire. Let's give him another chevron on training. And then let's move up Sigvald's army. And let's push him right up here against our... oh, whoops. That is not what I intended to do. There we go. Hit the encampment. We need to finish off one more unit in this army. I kind of wanted a Hell Cannon, but honestly, I don't think we need the Hell Cannon. Let's just put another Aspiring Champion in here for now. I think 2 Hell Cannons is plenty, especially considering I can manually aim them and do tremendous damage. Let's finish off the Marauder tree with the Proving Grounds. And now we should be quite capable of building any type of army with Archaon. We've got access to giants. I think the only thing we don't have is trolls at this point, so that'll be our next focus for Archaon, is to get some of the get the buildings so that we can train some trolls for Sigvald's escorting army with all the freakish mutations.
Simpering fools! You dare come before me, the Lord of the End Times?
What do you want, you filthy traitor? Look, I've got a treaty for you. You become the vassal you were. I'll come back up there. Way to fail, Hannelore. Demonic armor +5. Ooh, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Be the best. So, get a plus to recruitment. Let's see what we want to research next. This Herald of Doom is probably where we're going to go. It's going to buff up all of our Dragon Ogres and Shaggoths, as well as Giants, Feral Manticores, any units of that sort. We've significantly improved our research time. There is an Empire army here with some great swords and some Demigryph Knights, but I'm assuming Kemperbad's going to have an otherwise quite pathetic garrison. Maybe it is time to just go ahead and split off the armies for a bit of a challenge for a while. And Sigvald can train his own escorting army because his growth won't be terribly slow. I think we can make it happen. Archaon can go ahead and supply another army here momentarily. Let's take Sigvald. Actually, let's go ahead and recruit that other Chaos Lord. That's what I want to do next. Let's recruit a Lord. Do not have enough population surplus. Okay, we need 10 population surplus. We've got 7 right now, so we'll be pretty close. Alright, Appius is going to rank up, finish Occam's Mind Razor. And just to keep the troops from getting too restless here, let's go and wreck Kemperbad. And I'll actually fight this one. We haven't had a lot of fights with Empire other than that giant flagellant battle. So Archaon wants to shed the blood of the mortal men. Well, Supreme Patriarch Valmar here with his army. His crossbowmen, his great swords, representing what he thinks is the best of the Empire, and I hope this isn't the best that the Empire has. There are some Demigryph Knights, though. You can see that Appius has nothing but disdain for the Empire, and he already drops down a pretty painful penumbral pendulum right across a whole bunch of Empire units. Since they were so nicely lined up, I just had to let Appius go bowling. I've got my Knights on my right-hand flank, my Knights with Lances, Archaon, and the Swords of Chaos on my left flank as per standard procedure. And I'm going to make a surround of the enemy. I'm trying not to engage their Demigryph Knights within range of their halberds. I'm a little bit close here, but feel pretty confident that we can win this fight. Those Demigryph Knights are not the variant with halberds, and my infantry is now close enough that I can go clean up those halberds. And then I saw 2 units plastered together here, which is perfect fodder for Pit of Shades. So the Supreme Patriarch, and actually this, I think that's his Warrior Priest, actually. Yeah, that's his Warrior Priest. Yeah, this is the Supreme, or it says General of the Empire. Warrior Priest. It says, well, he is a General of the Empire. He's also, his title was Supreme Patriarch out on the map, but thanks to Appius and Sextus diving in. And this is actually a pretty dangerous fight that I've put Sextus into here, because he's fighting a lord and he's surrounded by infantry that's really hacking through his armor very, very quickly. Fortunately, my other forces, like Archaon, have already cleaned up significantly over here, and I have cavalry free now to get in here and attack these units from behind. But it was at this point I realized, like, oh crap, I know he's immortal, but I still don't want Sextus to die, so I gotta get in here and save him. So Archaon's not gonna let his top lieutenant lackey get beaten down by some Empire scumbucket. So Archaon's gonna come on in and start wreaking some havoc here. Somehow Appius managed not to take the worst of that. I think it's because the Lord was focused on Sextus, but Sextus will make it out. And even if I had gotten him quote-unquote killed, he now has the immortal trait, so he would be back rather soon. So good luck, mortals. Good luck. Got Appius here fighting the Warrior Priest, and then Archaon and his Knights hunting down those who would flee. I think the enemy Lord is out there amongst their prey. Yes, he is. So the General of the Empire is routed. And then just to put some real salt in the wound here, these fleeing Empire troops were pulled into a pit of shades by a merciless Appius, a Chaos Wizard who knows nothing but extreme brutality for his enemies. I believe there was some flagellants that were left there. The general is now dead. Oh, they're over here. Yep. There's one flagellant right here who's about to be summarily executed by a huge number of knights. Not even going to be able to see him in and amongst there, I don't think. But it was nice knowing you. Well, a pretty solid victory, other than the fact that I nearly got Sextus killed. But that shouldn't be anything new to Sextus. That's pretty much the way that he gets treated while under my command. Oh, poor Sextus. It's a good thing he's one tough Roman. I'm going to move Sigvald north. We'll kind of split temporarily. I kind of want to skirt around with Sigvald and head back to deal with some of the traitorous marauder scum, or maybe even wipe out the Skaven scum up here too. That might be a good start for... I mean, Sigvald needs to go after the elves, but I'm going to have to build his army a little. And I can do it with Archaon if it takes too long, but I do want to focus on the Empire, at least for now, with Archaon. And as far as the next vampire target, probably Karak Ungor. Let's see what the fastest route is. Okay, it's going to be this way. And let's march near to the end of our movement points and camp and replenish, and then make the move to Karak Ungor and Karak Kadrin. And like I said, rid ourselves of the vampire undead scum that Kholek so despises. Temple of Skulls. Extra winds of magic. Never hurts. Let's approach the outskirts of Altdorf. There are no defenders at the moment. I would certainly like to have more defenders. There's a decent garrison there, but I really want to find Franz. So I may swing up towards Talabheim and see if we can locate Karl Franz and hunt him down. We don't need to decant the wine right now, Sigvald, but we do need to get your horde growth to continue, and we are gaining horde growth rather quickly with Sigvald. I think I want to build this. We need a couple of things. We're up to tier 4 horde building, which is good. So for Sigvald, we're going to need this Chaos Troll layer, and then we're going to need Arcane Vortex and Chaos Rift if we're to make the monstrous army that's going to escort him. As for Kholek, he is ready to stay on the warpath here past Fort Yakova. I do not want to search it, so I'm going to attempt to kind of skirt the edge of it here. Again, hit the encampment, and we'll be relatively close to Karak Ungor.
You catch me in a moment of less rage, creature. I may spare your soul.
I'll spare your soul if you become a vassal. No one's playing, folks. We're to raid Middenheim. Despoiler of War. Let's actually look at our missions. We don't have any legendary quests right now, so none of these missions really concern me.
My adoring hordes agree.
My adoring hordes agree. I love the vanity on this guy. It is out of control. Absolutely out of control. I'm going to push north with Archaon. Sigvald, on the other hand, also pushing north. I need to, yeah, I think that we're going to take out the rats with Sigvald, just very temporarily, and then we'll hop on the sea there and sail over to Ulthuan. I just want to build up his army a little more. The High Elves are going to present a significant challenge, one that I don't want to face without his Sorcerer and other units getting some experience and his units picking up some chevrons, and then also by getting these buildings ready for his support army that needs to follow. So I want to have all of that into place before we just step onto the soil of Ulthuan, because we are going to face some very, very dangerous resistance when we get there if the High Elves are indeed as powerful as it appears they could be, assuming that they're still in control of Ulthuan as a whole. I don't believe we even have eyes on the High Elves technically at this point, even though we can see 2 of their settlements over here.
Yes. What is
Let's
it?
check in with Morathi.
I am most intrigued to hear.
We have an improving relationship here. It's trending up towards 14, so that's better than nothing. We could offer to join a war to see if this makes the Cult of Pleasure
What is it you see?
grow towards a military
I am most
alliance with us.
intrigued to hear.
Offer to declare war. Can we offer to declare war against... I mean, we're going to go to war with Ulthuan. It's not enough to get an alliance. Let's try something else here. If we go to all your wars... Nah, they're still not interested. Let's just join one of their wars, and we'll start with their war against the New World Colonies.
I think.
Oh, come on! I'm just offering to join your war. She's like, that's not good enough. You got to make it interesting. Well, we know that we are going to go to war with Lothern, and they like that, so we'll do that, and that should hopefully... Yeah, see, now we're trending up towards 29 from a diplomacy standpoint. We're going to go to war with Lothern sooner or later. So, might as well get started. Kholek is about to wreck Karak Ungor, and Talabheim will be sieged by Archaon. It has a significant garrison. We need to get some towers put together. Oh, this is excellent. Vermich here is close. Not quite close enough for me to engage in combat, but I'm going to push on him and see if we can get a fight with Vermich, or if maybe he'll attack us. I'd love to get a fight for Sigvald at this point. And Archaon's going to continue to push in on Talabheim. The Emperor's Eye, Aldebrand, Ludenhall. I still have not seen Karl Franz. He could be back here in the Reichland. I wonder if they even have any wars like that would kind of tip me off to where the Empire is at war with all of my old vassals and the vampires. They're allied with Bretonia. Okay. Kholek is ready to strike Karak Ungor. And this should be a custom map, so this will probably be a fun one to fight. The once great hold of Karak Ungor, held by disgusting vampire scum. Disgusting to the stunties, and disgusting to my chaos hordes, and they will all be dealt with. You can see that there's a bunch of Graveguard over here, and they also have a vampire Lore of Death up here. But quite a bit of infantry over on this flank, and decent infantry. But the vampires will be significantly outmatched here. All they've got is a necromancer leading their army. There are 2 units of fellbats here. Even though I know it's not a good engagement, I'm going to use Skulleks to take care of them. And then my chariots and Kholek will play with the rest of the victims here. Alright, so Skulleks is going to fight all those bats. It's going to be a big waste of time up there. And then Kholek's going to come execute this necromancer. Let's watch the hits that he puts on him. See that first hit doing tremendous damage. Look at the second hit. He's already below half health after 2 hits. See, Kholek doesn't even have his buffs in action yet here. He's just standard business right now. There, he's up to 702. Not going to take Kholek long. That's the end of that necromancer. So it's at this point where I had such fun KOing the necromancer, I was like, you know what, I'm going to send Kholek over here to toy around with this big ball of infantry too. Just let the, since the mountain god is under the mountain, he's feeling quite at home. And we'll just let him do what he does best, which is smash things with Star Crusher. Look at this background. This is so epic. I love Warhammer for this reason. Now some of you might be saying, Air, these battles, they're too easy. You're stomping everybody. Well, yes. I built good armies because I do intend to stomp my enemies, and it is the end times. But the vampires were significantly weakened by this point, so Kholek's not going to face their toughest armies. But when we move him along to go fight Tomb Kings, I expect that he's going to reach some significant challenges, and he'll have a Marauder army supporting him, which ought to be pretty fun. And then, of course, Sigvald is going to face significant challenges against the High Elves, because they are going to be very powerful and can field a lot of units that will make it a very interesting fight, since I didn't just spam Chosen with Sigvald. But we will have his freakish mutation army that follows him around as well. I'm going to watch my Gore Beast chariots. They're going to come in here and start cleaning up some of the stray infantry. And I'll bring over the rest of my Gore Beast chariots just because I want to speed the passage of this vampire infantry. I want to get it to chain route so that I can get back to business on the campaign map. Man, I love these custom maps. The makers really did a good job with it. Man, Gore Beast chariots versus vampires who don't have cavalry. I mean, it is merciless. No hope for stuff like vampire infantry against these Gore Beast chariots. Look at all the armor-piercing damage. Anti-large, a 92 charge bonus. This is, if there was war crimes in the realm of Warhammer, then this would be it. Our Vampirus here, Lore of Death, stepping out into the fight. These characters look really cool. The Lore of the Vampire Sorcerers look absolutely awesome. The Spellcaster units. Love the unit models that CA did with them. These Gore Beast chariots. Doing what they were made to do. Answering the call of the Dark Gods by absolutely smashing everything in their path. This is like some Battle of 5 Armies nonsense going on right here. Kholek's gonna go lock on to the vampire lady and see if he can put an end to her the same way that he did the necromancer. And boy, talk about a lightweight and a heavyweight fight here. But she didn't take near as much damage as quick as that necromancer did. And it's because her armor is considerably higher. At least I think that was her armor. Yeah, it is. 90 armor, so she's gonna tolerate a little more, but not for long. It's the fact that she's getting knocked over is the only thing saving her from Kholek's unholy wrath here. He's using Star Crusher. Yeah, the fact that she's ragdolling here is really saving her. Yeah, Kholek has clearly demonstrated his dominance over the von Karsteins, and he'll be having none of it. The vampires will fall, and there is no question of their fall, and then Kholek's going to move on to wipe out the Tomb Kings and rid the old world of all of its undead inhabitants being held together by necromancers. Well, Kholek probably could have 1v1'd his way through that whole thing, but I didn't want you all to have to wait for that long, so I just had some fun with my chariots and with Kholek taking out enemies, and of course letting Skull-X pointlessly chew on bats the whole time. Probably not a great idea because it causes more damage than otherwise Skull-X would take, but that's also a good lesson for you all as you're playing multiplayer and campaign. Bats are actually really good fodder for big flying units because those big flying units get surrounded and don't always kind of cause as much damage back as they receive from the big blob of units. That's going to be all the time I have for this episode. I do hope that you all enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it for you. I'm going to do this one here. We should be getting close to 1,000 weapon strengths with the proper abilities underway for Kholek. We have to go take out Khazid Irkulaz and then Karak Kadrin, and we should have gotten rid of most of the vampire filth up here, which would just leave their few settlements in Norska. And then hopefully in the next one we'll have some Sigvald's vanity crushing the disgusting rats underfoot. So that should be an interesting matchup. And then Archaon will be continuing his assault on the Empire. Prepare yourself, folks. The end times continues.